Okay. What did you think of that? I'm John Yeoh at CSA, and that's a wrap for day one of September 2025. Thanks for coming. What a powerhouse lineup, though, right? I don't know if everybody's familiar with the speakers and what you heard today. We started with Mark Russinovich, and if you're not familiar with Mark, he's been in this industry for 30 years. He doesn't look it, I know, but he is an absolute legend. Started Winternals, I think a couple decades ago, and has been with Microsoft ever since. One of the smartest guys at Microsoft, too. I mean, he's so smart, they give him three titles. So he's their CTO, Deputy CISO, one of their technical fellows as well, too. So wonderful to have him, as always. Uh, Not his first time attending and speaking at a CSA event. Also, Tim Youngblood. Tim Youngblood is my guy. He's a friend of mine, and he's been CISO at some of the major enterprises his entire career. So most recently, T-Mobile, McDonald's, Kimberly-Clark, Dell, and the list goes on and on of what Tim's done in our industry, and he still is involved as a strategic advisor and investor, and definitely a friend of mine. As a reminder too, you get CPEs, so continuing professional education credits as you attend these CSA events. And it's not just the CSA events like you're experiencing today, but if you're involved in chapters, in the working groups, and you're co-authoring documents, that's also recognized by a lot of the accrediting organizations. So if you are doing your CISSP, CSSP with ISC squared discounts, if you're doing stuff with ISACA, your CISA, your CISM, CSA activities are recognized. You will get an email, so you don't even have to do anything. You'll get an email from CSA capturing all of the events that you attended. So as long as you logged in, which I think you have to do, as long as you logged in and registered for the event, everything's automated, and you'll get credit on whatever events you attend, including this one. So don't forget to attend the openings and the beginnings because we like to talk about what we heard or what we're going to hear. So with that too, you know, I always like to put learning themes together when I attend these events too. And we don't just recap them one at a time, but what were the real big takes from me and with Mark and Tim, I mean they highlighted new risks in AI, and we might be familiar with a lot of these risks, but coming from Mark, for example, when he talked about what they're doing with LLMs, what he's seeing with LLMs, keep in mind that Microsoft isn't just building world-class LLMs, but they're hosting a lot of them, if not most of them, in Azure. And so OpenAI, one of the biggest, large language models that people are using right now, is hosted in Azure. And not just that too, but frontier models can't do everything. So what do we need to be responsible for? And Mark took us through that, right? He talks about mitigation techniques, and I think that's pretty incredible because you might be familiar with the frontier models, but go into Hugging Face and other marketplaces, and there are over 3 million. I'm not even kidding, 3 million large language models that developers are downloading and using. Not just that too, but we're using them not in their hosted environments. We're bringing them, we're hosting them ourselves. And so having mitigation techniques for things like prompt injections, jailbreaking, and just even the simple reasoning challenge that we have. I thought that was super insightful for Mark to share these kind of things. Tim, I mentioned how Tim has been the lead protector for so many major enterprises in his career, and he highlighted some of the biggest AI blind spots that we're going to see coming up here, and that's non-human identities. NHI is I don't know why it's a controversial term, but uh, it's such an important term because uh, Tim highlighted service accounts and OAuth, and these are how applications authenticate and authorize with each other, right? But NHIs are so much broader than that too, and Tim touches on that as well too. But when you look at some of the ratios of NHIs to human identities, I've seen them as high as 200 to 1, like the ratio of 200 NHIs to one human identity. And I think that's only going to increase as agentic AI, as we move into this agentic movement. Agents themselves are going to have their own identities, and agents will use several different types of NHIs to again access and get authorization to access systems, data sets, applications. And so as they move in our environment, they will have their own NHIs to do that. And so I think NHI is an absolute big blind spot and a risk in AI that Tim highlighted and was worth noting for sure. So excellent stuff so far. The second theme I saw, agentic AI is reshaping cloud, and no surprise there too, if we look at just the innovation and the transformation that we're seeing in the cloud with AI. Wiz is always on the cutting edge of that stuff, I think, and if they're not highlighting vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, but they're also showing us, hey, how these things can be fixed, and Snega does that. She highlights some of the recent Wiz activities there too, and do some research on your own, and you can see some of the amazing things that the Wiz research team is doing. And I even know how there's been some recent supply chain attacks that Wiz was actually a brilliant partner in having to actually fix those things. This panel was outstanding. I want to give it up for Anna Sarnik over at AWS and her four panelists who are doing some of the most innovative things in AI right now. So it's not just about knowing what is out there, but Anna orchestrated how these four companies and these four, like all founders, leaders, or executives at these companies, what they're saying that's different in AI today or different in security today. What can agentic AI do that we just haven't been able to do before? And so if you're building a security program, it's really important to make sure that you have the right tools, but also that you're applying them in the right way. And so that's what I thought this panel did too. Not only do we highlight the new capabilities that we're seeing in agentic AI, but also what's the right approach on securing these things? What are the gaps that we have in security that we're able to address right now? So what kind of context are we given? Are we able to do intelligence detection techniques? I really appreciate seeing AIceberg, ARIA, Rico, and Tuscara sharing that. And Anna did a great job talking about that too, and just seeing all the opportunities that we have right now in AI that we've really never been able to see before. So I like this theme of just agentic AI reshaping cloud and even the whole threat landscape overall. This was a great panel, and I loved how Snega also added to that with her Wiz presentation. All right, I'm going through my own notes here too. So uh, my last theme I thought was just security programs and guardrails overall. Uh, I kind of highlight zero trust, AI, and some metrics here too, and Arvisha, takes us through the whole cloud security path with zero trust and microsegmentation, and how relevant it is still today, especially with the approach to AI and having this zero trust approach to how we adopt new technologies, and AI is no different there. Rich Mogul, another one of my guys, I tell him this all the time, man, that I model my own career after Rich because he just seems to know so much. But uh, Rich works with all the premier cloud service providers. I still think he knows more about AWS than anybody else on the planet. And for the last 16 years, 17 years that I've known him, he's helping take enterprises through this whole cloud adoption journey. And so he has a ton of experience just helping organizations adopt technology. And now, as cloud has evolved and AI has been integrated into all cloud services, how do these security programs, how does this extend? And I appreciate how he really highlights metrics to use when you're building a successful security program, a world-class enterprise security program. So listening to Rich is something I always do, and so I recommend that everybody does as well and checks out his session. Uh, we're not through. We had some great sessions from Chris Porter over at Google and Ignacio over at Vanta. I just honestly, when I saw the title of his track, you couldn't help but want to watch it. Move fast, don't break things. And I feel like in agile compute, we always say let's move fast and let's break things, but it's different as we're integrating AI into our everyday security and business operations. We can't break things. And so how do we integrate AI the right way? He gives us tips on governing AI and integrating agentic AI so that we can adopt it safely, but also move fast. We want to move fast. We want to advance. We want to keep up with competitors. We want to do what's right for our customers. We want to do what's right for our citizens. And so advancing is what we want to do. We absolutely need to do it the correct way. I think we see that AI adoption is definitely happening fast, and the risks are evolving uh, just as fast. Yeah, agentic AI, I think it's pretty real, right? We're going to be moving towards this agentic movement, and so we need to be ready for it. We need to be ready for the change in the governance model, the change in threat model, and we need to rely on some of the proven security principles that we have, like zero trust. What we did in cloud over the last, 15 plus years is gonna have some similarities. It's just happening a lot faster. And so how we move, how we prepare for AI is gonna be super important. And I did want to add that not just today at the SECtember event, but CSA has continuous activities on these topics all the time. That's kind of one of the things we do. We like to say best practices. I heard someone else say next practices. So however we need to do it, we need to prepare for what's coming, and we need to keep up with the things that Mark and Tim highlighted earlier, and the rest of today's speakers shared with us. If you do want to continue getting involved in CSA, and I know you do, after the SECtember event, go to cloudsecurityalliance.org. You can see what research we're doing, the real priorities of focus that we're recognizing from events like this, from the enterprises and all the corporate members that we talk to, is that we need to definitely maintain what we're doing in cloud to create cloud assurance as we prepare for our move to whatever technology is next. That big technology that we think is next is agentic AI. So there's a huge priority on that. If you're familiar with CSA, you've seen us do things in quantum, do things in IoT, and we're not stopping, but we're just putting a lot of focus into agentic AI so we can help enterprises and organizations that to them, it's really important that we accelerate guidance for them. So that's going to be a big point of emphasis for us. And we talk about just, hey, how do we leverage proven security principles for this? Zero trust continues to be a mainstay, and it is applicable everywhere. And I know we've had conversations with a lot of people on this. I do think yeah, zero trust, it's like bodybuilding or something like that too, right? Like maybe this perfection is super unattainable, but as long as we're doing the right things, we're exercising, we're eating right, we're going to build a better body, or in this case, a better security program so that we can adopt AI. We can advance quickly, but do it with the proper guardrails. So I guess that's a wrap for day one. You can rewatch all the sessions. If this is your first time hearing about it, you know which ones I'm excited about, which is all of them. But watch them all, rewatch them. If you get to it too late on this platform, they'll be on the CSA YouTube channel, so you can check that out too. Uh, Day two is tomorrow, so come back. There's gonna be more amazing content tomorrow. Uh, I think that's about it. I'm out of coffee, so I'm done for the day. Come back. My name's John Yeoh. Thank you from CSA. Thank you for being here for day one of SECtember 2025. Day two is tomorrow. Come back. All right. Thank you.